Okay, so not too long after Gamescom, I was able to attend actually my local convention that's here in Toronto, FanExpoCanada. It was a really good time, lots of good booths to check out, got to play some Nintendo Switch 2 games early. I also got to try on the new Marvel Legends Wolverine mask. It is so sick. But I also got to meet Yuri Lowenthal and Najee Jeter, the voice actors for Peter Parker and Miles Morales in the Marvel Spider-Man games. When I walked up to Najee Jeter, he was incredibly kind, took a lot of time to just chat with me about my channel and just about the Spider-Man games in general and his love for them. It was really awesome to get to chat with him. He also told you guys to hit the thumbs up button on this video. And then when I talked to Yuri, it was a really interesting interaction. Same thing, very, very kind, super nice. He congratulated me on my work with the channel and everything, and I appreciated all the work that he has done for these games, and as well the way he shows the love for the community and a lot of people in this community. And then I asked him about Marvel Spider-Man 3. You know, I asked him about where Peter's character is headed in that game. I knew he couldn't tell me much, but he did give me some insight, some thoughts of his about Peter's character and where it was left off at the end of Spider-Man 2 going into Spider-Man 3. So I'm going to talk about that and some more for some other people that got to meet him throughout the weekend here at that convention. Before we do so though, let's just have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Asus Canada, and guys, I got some more to talk about here with the ZenBook Duo. The first thing that I got to talk about is some Labor Day sales. You can get up to $200 off from August 22nd all the way through to September 4th on the ZenBook Duo. And by the way, that $200 off, that's $300 Canadian. So it's a really good sale. This sale will be going on Amazon, Best Buy, or the official Asus eShop in Canada. And I mean, I've talked about the ZenBook Duo on this channel before. It is such an amazing laptop. It increases your efficiency and your productivity exponentially, and it just looks so cool. The laptop features two 14-inch dual OLED screens. And then you got a nice little Bluetooth keyboard that you can just magnetically pop off, so then you can utilize those two screens wherever you want, and however you want. Plus, you know, we're getting ready to go back to school or just getting ready to get back to work. This is the perfect laptop to help you prepare for that. The ZenBook Duo is also powered by the latest Intel Core processors, so you know it's gonna run well. So grab yourselves a ZenBook Duo right now while it's on sale. This is a limited time offer, and it's only gonna be running until September 4th. Check that link in the description. Thank you to Asus Canada for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to the content. So, okay, first things first, big shout outs to Austin Medeiros. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. I've actually met Austin a couple of times. He's shown appreciation and love for the channel. Thank you, Austin, if you're watching this, for providing some content here for the channel. But he was able to meet up with Yuri Lowenthal at FanExpoCanada, and he asked him if Carnage will appear in Marvel Spider-Man 3. As you may remember, obviously we had that side mission that took place in Marvel Spider-Man 2. We all thought, okay, it's not just me, we all thought that that was going to be something that would lead into a DLC of some kind for Spider-Man 2. That obviously didn't end up happening. Insomniac has confirmed that there isn't going to be any post-launch support for the game, and there isn't going to be any DLC of any kind for Marvel Spider-Man 2. And so it left us wondering, is Carnage going to be a villain that appears in Spider-Man 3? I honestly am not sure I would want that. I kind of would have liked the symbiote stuff and all that to be wrapped up in Spider-Man 2. But anyways, Yuri was asked this by Austin, and this is what Yuri had to say. Quote, "I can't say anything about that, but they're definitely cooking something up." I know that for some people, they may think, you know, this could be confirmation or anything. I really do think that Yuri is just trying to give kind of the boilerplate answer here. He can't say anything, obviously. He's just saying, hey, I know Insomniac is making something over there, and it's probably a Marvel Spider-Man 3, as we all know. And yeah, there was no Carnage DLC or anything like that for Marvel Spider-Man 2, so the obvious answer, or at least the most logical one in this instance, is that they're going to be saving that villain in some way for Marvel Spider-Man 3. What exactly they do with the villain, I have no idea. How they execute on that, I am not sure. We're gonna have to wait quite a while in order to get those answered. I mean, a lot of people have been speculating about and have been wondering, you know, could we get a Venom game? Maybe is that something that Insomniac has planned? And yeah, that certainly could be a possibility. I mean, you have people in Insomniac who are straight up teasing this before Spider-Man 2 came out, saying, we're just gonna listen to the community, hear what the feedback is, and if a Venom game is something that people want, that is something that they'll consider. I think we've all made it pretty clear that we would want a Venom game. We all made it pretty clear going into Spider-Man 2 that we wanted to play as Venom, and they absolutely delivered on that. that. So if Insomniac is listening and they're taking in that community feedback and they're trying to deliver based on that community feedback, I mean, a Venom game feels like it's something that could happen. And a Carnage fight, or just Carnage being the main villain in a Venom game, makes a ton of sense. It's just how exactly we kind of connect all of that with the events of Marvel Spider-Man 2. Who would be the Venom host in a potential Venom game? How do we bring in the Spider-Men if they're going to be involved? A lot of that stuff is up in the air, but I do trust Insomniac, if they were to be making it, to have found a way to make it all work. Okay, back to the topic of Marvel Spider-Man 3, back to the topic of this video. I got to chat with Yuri Lowenthal as well. I got to talk to him at FanExpoCanada. Such an awesome dude. Really, really kind. And I did ask him, I just specifically stated, okay, you can't talk too much about Marvel Spider-Man 3. I know, you can't say anything about it. I want to ask you, based on where Peter was left off at the end of Marvel Spider-Man 2, what are you most interested to see where that character could go next? And he gave me a very short and simple answer, and I feel like it's an answer that a lot of us kind of have on our mind, all right? He said, at the end of Spider-Man 2, Peter wanted to take a break. But what he's wondering, what Yuri is wondering, is that can he? And yeah, that is an interesting question to ask. But as well, again, I think we're all feeling that, or we're all thinking that after the events of Spider-Man 2. There was people going a little crazy for a second, thinking that this meant Peter was going to retire and not be present in Spider-Man 3 at all. I think you're out of your mind if you thought that. But we have gotten word from both Najee Jeter and Yuri Lowenthal that that's not going to be the case. Peter Parker will very much be present in Marvel Spider-Man 3. And I feel like it's just like an easy setup that they're trying to do here, okay? Like maybe for the first act, Peter's on his break. He might not be around. You're playing as Miles, and we have this whole setup that the Green Goblin is about to make his appearance. He's about to make his presence known. He's working alongside Doc Ock, and boom, Peter has to spring back into action. For as much as Miles is able to handle taking care of the city on his own, a threat like Green Goblin working alongside a threat like Doc Ock should be one that is big enough that not just Miles by himself can take on. And, you know, if we're just talking like characters, like emotionally, writing, all that stuff, like Green Goblin, you know, it being potentially Norman Osborn, even if it is Harry Osborn, and then as well Doc Ock, they have such an emotional tie to Peter Parker that it would be nonsense that Peter wouldn't appear in the third game. But yeah, going back to Yuri's answer, can he take that break? I mean, probably not. And that may be the way that Spider-Man pays the ultimate price. I used the word ultimate very literally in this sense. We could be seeing a setup here for maybe the death of Peter Parker in Marvel Spider-Man 3. And it just may be like the notion, it may speak towards the fact that every time Peter Parker wins, Spider-Man loses, or vice versa. Except in this case, he may have to give his life for the sake of his city and for the people that he loves. They're clearly setting up Marvel Spider-Man 3 to be the big finale of this trilogy. They're setting it up to have quite a bit going into that story, and there are going to be a lot of stakes with Norman Osborn teaming up with Doc Ock. Who knows where we're going to see that go? I want to give a big thank you, though, if Yuri is watching this by any chance randomly, for being so nice and just for taking the time to chat with me about Spider-Man, and just for us to be able to share the love for Insomniac and the work that they do on these games. And then also a big shout out to Najee Jeter. He took way more time than he needed to just sit there and talk to me about my city, about these games, about all of it. It was really awesome. With that being said, let me now kick it to you guys. Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think about the information here in this video? What do you think about Yuri Lowenthal's answer to the question that I had asked him? And also, do you think that maybe we're going to be seeing like the death of Peter Parker or something of that sort in Marvel Spider-Man 3? Sound off with your thoughts in the comments section below. I've been Caboose. I'll see you guys later.